Chat, I'll tell y'all the shit that Wack was hitting me about. I guess somebody hit him up with a coin and they wanted me to like promote it or something. And they're like, yeah, it's like it's 150,000. You could just tweet it out. It's gotta be up for 8 hours. I'm like, fuck no. Listen, I don't want the SEC investigate me for nothing. I'm good. You know what I mean? So I texted Black. I said, Black, I'm good. I said, they done investigated Yachty. They done investigated Soldier Boy. I'm good. I want no parts with no coins, no pumps and dumps. I'm good. Okay? Because you, listen, I don't want the SEC knocking at my door. Yeah, 150 sound good, but I am straight. I don't want no parts. No. Leave little old lack into this, man. Leave me out of this one. Leave me out of this one, brother. Leave me out of this one. Didn't Adam do one of them shits? They were baking at me. I'm good. I'm good. I'm not that money hungry. I'm straight. Listen, the SEC gonna start arresting these things. I'm gonna be honest with you. They're gonna start getting a little bit more serious about influencers constantly doing these like deals where like you get $300,000 and you tweet something out, and then this shit's like viral for whatever, and the market cap goes to $3-4 million, and everybody sells, and a bunch of people lose money. Okay, they're gonna make an example out of somebody. I don't want to be a part of that. Love Whack, but I'm gonna, I'm pretty sure somebody came to Whack with that idea, Right. But yeah, I'm not doing that. If it was something else, like, cool, but once I heard the amount of money, I was like, that's good. Before I even heard it, he just told us to tell. Once I heard that amount of money, I'm like, anyway. Okay. He said that, I think they asked him, it was like,
Purdue Global was there for me at a time of great uncertainty in my life. I really wasn't sure what was going to happen, what the future was going to hold, and I thought if I want to try to do something else, this is the opportunity to do it. That ended up opening up a lot of doors for me. I accepted a new position, expanded my role, my responsibilities, paid me a higher salary, I had greater benefits, so I directly benefited from my Purdue Global degree. This is my comeback.
What's going on, y'all?
Start your comeback today at Purdue.
What's going on?
He was talking about why he doesn't fly private jets, and I thought it was the biggest crock of bullshit ever.
What's happening?
Give a nigga a little bop. Like, nigga,
they're like, even one way is 40, right? Like,
Manual, what it do?
You got the hookup. That's it.
Manual, what it do? Manual. What's up, man? How you feeling? Oh, shout out to the 29 people who watching right now, man. Shout out to the 29 people who watching right now, man. If y'all can for me, please stay with me. Let me know if you fuck with the channel. Let me know how you feel about this shit, man. Shout out to the 29 people watching right now, man. Hold it down, Monkey Town. Hold up. Y'all double tap that like button, man. Double tap the like button. What it do, man? Double tap the like button. Y'all know what it is with me, man. It's Trey Bolo in the building. Shout out to the 29 people who was just in this bitch, man. Gets real in the field, don't it? It gets real in the field, don't it? Got 16 people in the building. How y'all feel today, man? How do y'all feel today? Let me fucking know how y'all feel today, man. Anybody voting? Anybody want to tell me something about themselves? You know what I'm saying? Anybody voting? Anybody want to tell me something about themselves, man? Y'all let me know what the fuck going on. What's on y'all mind? Manual, what's good? Manual, what it do? Shout out to the 13 people who still here with me, man. I want to talk about this crazy ass situation with Conor McGregor, Azealia Banks, and just the internet as a whole. I have no fucking idea what's going on right now. You got Nicki Minaj and Dez Bryant beefing. You got Gilly the fucking Kid, Johnny Manziel beefing. You got fucking, you had the Offset and Cardi B shit for a little bit. Man, there's so much going on. You got Donald Trump dissing Charlamagne the God. Yo, bro. And then I had to reevaluate really what was going on when because this is a bit of it's not an old story, but it's a story that happened this year that didn't get a lot of traction after it was done. But Conor McGregor sent I'm gonna say a duck pic, right? A duck pic of himself to Azealia Banks to say happy birthday or some shit. And to me, I just want the whole thing, this whole internet, this shit is going nuts right now. Just the internet itself, just people listen. I was watching Rory and Mal, and they had watching Warrior Maul. I forgot who they had on there, but basically Maul said something that I don't really agree with Maul a lot of the times, but this time I did. Right? Maul said, I would have never thought about none of these people even being in the same category of each other, let alone beefing or saying words or, bouncing shit off back and forth from each other. Nicki Minaj and Dez Bryant, bro, he's a fucking ex-football player, bro. Nicki Minaj is a female rapper. Why the fuck are we? Shout out to the 20 people watching right now. Shout out to the 22 people watching right now. What the fuck is going on? Is there something that's going on the internet that's... So I just looked some shit up. They teleporting particles with quantum physics and shit now. So maybe they sending particles through niggas, and niggas is just getting affected by this shit. And I have no idea why. It's just the weirdest shit ever, man. The internet is getting... I think we're starting to get to a point where we're about to max out. I think we're maxing out on what this internet shit really is doing. Everybody keep tapping the like button, man. Double tap that motherfucker. But I think we maxing out on this shit, man. I think, for me, I got my antics, you know what I'm saying? I do what I do to keep y'all attention here. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, man, for people who are up here, like way, way up there, you know what I'm saying? Millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, billions of streams, hundreds of millions of streams. You got millions of people that have watched you at one point. You have a lifestyle that is of the top 10%, top 5, bless me, top 5, top 10%. And it gets to a point where it's like, how much more would you want for yourself if you don't already have those things that you've acquired, that you've never had when you were broke, when you were fucked up? I just...
Give a nigga a little wop, wop, wop.
I don't get that. You know what I'm saying? I don't get what time we're living in when we are... Like I said, I've done my antics on the internet. I've done my trolling. I've done my shit. And I've actually calmed down a lot. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you. But to watch people with millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, different business venues, sponsorships, all this shit, it just gets tiring to see. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I don't want to talk about anything. I don't want to have content to go off of, because what I'm doing with titles now and talking about these stars now is not just talking about Conor McGregor and the duck pic he sent to Azealia Banks, right? Because Conor McGregor and Azealia Banks are both, in my opinion, and I don't have no evidence or nothing to back it up, but just through what I see through the internet, they both are not doing so well. So that this mix is the perfect segue, I felt like, to talk about what the fuck is going on, man, with the internet. Like, why are you sending duck pics? First of all, Conor McGregor, you have a grape case or an essay case or some shit or whatever that you actually lost, okay? And with you sending this duck pic to Azealia Banks, this crazy bitch, okay? This crazy ass bitch, okay? You're sending duck pics to this crazy ass bitch. You know the type of time that she be on, bruh. Shout out to Turkey, man. Kevin, what it do? And why? Original Cheeses. Manuel, what it do? Yeah, make sure to double tap that screen, man. Double tap that screen. Double tap the screen, man. You know what it is. Double tap the screen. But this is the perfect two people. This is a white man and a black woman, first of all. So this represents different kinds of... I'm gonna bring up... listen, oh my God, I'm so glad you brought up Shannon Stupid Sharp, right? Triple S, Shannon Stupid Sharp, right? I'm gonna talk about him in a minute too. Then I'm so glad you. If anybody got any other stupid star that you want me to talk about right now, let's just get all this shit out of the way, man. It's like I'm shoveling shit and I'm just finding out that there's more shit to shovel, right? Yeah, I live in the U.S. Man. I appreciate you participating. I appreciate y'all commenting, man. This is all I want from people. You know what I'm saying? Just to fuck with me. Conor McGregor does not represent what people would want to look like if they wanted to see a white man, right? And Azealia Banks is not a great representation of black women. I remember Azealia Banks being, I think she does music, but more so, I remember her recording a video of her opening her closet, and there were dead chickens in her closet. And she explained why there were dead chickens in her closet. She said that she's into black magic, voodooism, whatever the fuck, sacrificing things to make shit happen or whatever the fuck, right? From then, I knew she was off a rocker. Now, the stuff she's saying, it's not like it's not true, but certain practices and beliefs, I feel like you should definitely keep to yourself. If you do that type of shit, keep that shit to yourself. Conor McGregor, you have a case, an essay case, grape case, something like that in that realm of a woman and with a woman, excuse me, and you lost the case, and then a year or two or however long down the line, you're sending duck pics to a bitch who had a closet full of dead chickens. Can we sit back? Conor McGregor, you sent your duck pic, right? Replace the U with an I, right? But you sent your duck pic to a bitch who had dead chickens, bloody, by the way, fresh blood, looked like. So that's the internet is I don't know. It went from Wild Wild West to the Wild Wild World, right? www dot. And I just don't see this shit
So he's basically
ending.
talking about what?
But I do see it maxing out. I think we're about to max out on the debauchery. I think we're about to max out on the antics. I think we're about to max out pretty soon. I give it about another 2. In 2027, I think there'll be a reset of an attitude to people are still going to, do their antics. People are still going to act out and wild out, right? But I do think there will be less room for it because a lot of people don't want to see that shit no more. People got kids, people got lives, people got jobs, people got reputations that they want to uphold. I just feel like at the end of the day, we are maxing out on the internet shenanigans when it comes to superstars. And when it comes to regular people, hey man, I could watch a random motherfucker go and punch a motherfucker every day out there at Taco Bell. But that's a lot more relatable than Nicki Minaj calling Desiree Perez a racist, calling Jay-Z a hypocrite because on one hand he tries to act like he's for the black people, but then on another hand he sells. She's saying like, oh, Jay-Z will trick us to basically use us as like leverage. You know what I'm saying? And in business, Nicki Minaj, you use your fans as leverage as well to get sponsorships and whatever the fuck. So on one hand, I may see what you're talking about, but on the other hand, the things that you've done over time outweigh the opinion that you want to give out. So sometimes the message gets skewed because the messenger probably isn't the best person to do so. You're giving me Azealia Bank vibes though. When you like dissing everybody, dissing SZA, dissing Des Bryant, dissing Jay-Z, dissing Desiree Perez, dissing the NFL, fucking low-key dissing Kendrick Lamar, but not really, but you kind of, all this shit came from the Kendrick Lamar shit. Dissing Cardi B, dissing Lil Kim, like I can go, you diss so many people that now when you look back on how you did it and why you did it, maybe it wasn't for what people, maybe at first when you came out, it wasn't evidence to look back on to prove the point that maybe you just got some mental issues or something. I don't want to put that on you, but a lot of the times people who get in these positions and get so much at one time, that causes a mental instability, like there's some chemical imbalance that happens to them. You know what I'm saying? Because I just would never truly really get why people with millions or hundreds of thousands or multi-millions, right, has the time to even throw negativity out there. Now I can see you wanting to raise awareness of something, right? Which is what a lot of people is getting on DJ Khaled for, because he's Palestinian and he doesn't seem like he's taking a stance on the shit. So I get that part, right? But DJ Khaled, has been very silent, especially since he said, "I got 2 Drake features," and Drake said, "You must be talking about Drake Bell," and shut that shit all the way the fuck down, right? Just with a comment, which is, in my opinion, kind of petty. And to be honest, I feel like he should have maybe let DJ Khaled get those verses off, because that might have even helped his career. Now looking back, I think DJ Khaled was one of those people that you actually needed in your corner, because it would have made it a lot smoother over time, right? You would have had some type of mediator over time to at least help you try to mend some relationships, but I mean, it is what it is, and now it was what it was. So DJ Khaled is somebody too that's kind of like got mixed up in this internet shit. And I think DJ Khaled was a multi-millionaire, reinvented himself on Snapchat, which is beautiful. Not hating on that. But what I am, and I'm not hating on anything really, but what I am wanting to focus on is when Tyler the Creator went #1 on his album, and you said something about that, that let me know that your ego was talking and not actually you.
I doesn't fly private.
It's just, right? I don't really,
convenience, nigga.
I don't really appreciate what DJ Khaled isn't doing. I appreciate what he's done for the game, giving us a lot of collabs that a lot of people probably feel like we would have never gotten if DJ Khaled probably didn't even exist in the space. He reinvented what a DJ was supposed to look like. He reinvented what an A&R was supposed to look like, a producer, right? And he admittedly says that a lot of the stuff he put together, he took this beat, maybe told somebody this sucked, put that sample under there. Hey, I need you to go here, do this, do that, And he reinvented on what like an A&R producer, DJ was supposed to look like. I will give him that. I'm not taking that away from him. You can't take away the hundreds of fucking hits that he's had on the billboards. You can't. I just don't like that you don't have a stance, and that was the issue with Drake as well. And I don't want to harp on Drake like that. You know what I'm saying? He's too easy right now to tear down. Right? But this Conor McGregor and Azealia Banks shit just made me realize there's so much going on the internet that it's not entertaining anymore. It's almost starting to look like people's trauma and mental issues are bleeding out via the internet, even when you have a life to where you don't have to speak about that shit at all. And that's my issue with these people with millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, a lot of followers, a lot of people that look up to them. And unfortunately, you should look up to somebody who's probably got a commercial, right? But that's why I like a lot of underground artists and things of that nature. But these are the people that kind of shape how you feel about a certain industry. You get what I'm saying? When we talk about the fashion industry, Virgil comes up, Kanye comes up. Unfortunately, Kanye comes up. I'm trying to think of somebody else who's like kind of influenced us in fashion. I mean, I guess Jim Jones, but not really. But whatever. I throw him in there. Just honorable mention type of deal. Dame Dash, which he's making the comeback, and I like the fact that he's owning up to some of the bullshit, but he still doesn't get really the gist of what's going on. But I do respect that. But Dame Dash, Virgil, Kanye, I mean, throw Jay-Z in there, you know what I'm saying? Even though he wasn't like a big fashion icon, he did have his hands in fashion a lot. Michael Jordan, when you see these people it does shape the perception and reality of how you feel like you're supposed to approach it. So even though I feel like these people are unsuccessful in an area of perception when it comes to how people follow them and what they're supposed to be following them for, I do feel like they are successful in the sense of influencing people, regardless if I agree with it or not, influencing people in a way to where they are going to do these things, or they should feel like they should do these things because they saw you do it. You know, and that's true, right? This is why we have something called influencers, such as myself. I might have influenced somebody to look at something differently when they watch the live, or when they watch the short, or when they watch one of my videos, or when they listen to one of my songs, you know, one of my verses, maybe just a line here and there, kind of change the perception of reality for you. And I hope it was a good one. But more so than not, you know, the Nicki Minaj versus Jay-Z, Nicki Minaj versus everybody, basically, Drake versus everybody, Conor McGregor sending duck pics to Azealia Banks. And I want to touch on the Shannon Sharp thing too. The Shannon Sharp thing was one of the stupidest things we probably could have seen a powerful black man do. He came from sports, went on the ESPN, went and got his own buzz on network, was next to Skip Bayless for a while, and then he did his own thing. Had Club Shay Shay going, or still has Club Shay Shay going, still has Nightcap, and I think he got something else too going on, but I know Nightcap and Club Shay Shay are his go-tos. For him to have one of the biggest, to be honest, it's probably the biggest interview in YouTube history, maybe. Like Shannon Sharp, that's the thing. When you have arguably the biggest fucking interview in YouTube history to happen on your platform, and it was a comedian, it's funny to watch back on that, and it's almost like Cat Williams was underlyingly trying to talk to you as well. I don't know if underlyingly is a word, but you know, that the undertone of it was he was talking to you the whole time. He was joking at you, low-key, the whole time. Like, some of the shit he was saying applied it to the exact situation that you went through with the OnlyFans chick that was, what, 30-something years younger than you? First of all, that's a mistake. Second of all, you giving her the time of day when you in your 50s and you damn near got 50 million. You got just as many millions as your age. You 50 with 50. You 50 with 50 million. And you talking to this OnlyFans chick that's probably making a couple $1,000s a week, a month, whatever the fuck, right? Whatever it is. I don't really care about that. The whole point is, why are you putting yourself in a situation with someone that is such a gap? You know that they're planning to do something, even if they aren't. Let me tell you something, Shannon. Shannon stupid. Let me tell you something, Shannon stupid Sharp, because you ain't that goddamn sharp. You kind of stupid. Why would you put your trust in someone who sells images online of themselves? Like, naked. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think that a female who's selling herself online, legally, who's selling herself online, sees, you don't have to be black. You could have been fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. You could have been the fucking CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch. You could have been fucking Kanye West. If you got millions of dollars and you dealing with an OnlyFans chick that's not making that much, obviously she wasn't making as much as what she liked because she wouldn't have sued you. So you telling me you put your trust, you put your all in this bitch, and then on top of that you had this weird fetish of this, like, you had like the race angle going on. Y'all was having, like, you get off on, like, being called the big black man, small white girl. Like, that shit looks nasty. You have arguably the biggest fucking interview on the internet that's ever hit the internet ever, and it was Cat Williams. Now people are looking at you like a joke. I wanted to talk about you in the sense of, man, Shannon Sharp is one of the most successful black men that we've ever seen, and he has very few things, kinks in his arm, right? I don't think that'll fly anymore. Obviously, people don't agree with your takes anymore. People don't give a fuck about your takes anymore. People could give two shits about your take now, because you're looked at as someone who is a laughing stock for the industry. You were headed towards being just as big as Joe Budden, just as big as Joe Rogan, just as big as anybody else in this podcast space. Now Jada Kiss and Fat Joe are doing it. Cam Newton, Carmelo Anthony, Corey Holcomb. Like you got some people out here that's doing it big, that's doing it real big, man. So for you to take yourself out of that situation because of a white woman looks stupid, first of all. You fell for the bait, second of all. Third of all, what the fuck are you doing texting these things knowing that you are 50 with 50? You are 50 something with $50 million. Bro, you need to be sending this shit on an encrypted message, delete on both ends, ass app, or whatever. If you on this type of timing. You got way too many possible resources that you could have used to not get caught up in this shit at all. I'm guaranteeing you now, there's some things that we don't know that also happened that he did get away with. Because this shows you that he didn't get away with it this time. You know, and this time should be in parentheses because that's the most important thing. It's this time that you got caught. How many other times are you fucking with young white women that you had this weird racial kink? I'm not judging you for it, but once it goes into lawsuits, once it goes into, you know what I'm saying? You are placing yourself and putting yourself in a situation where you could have lost it all. You got separated from ESPN. You lost your job there. So you made it to where this isn't even something that you could possibly come back from. You get what I'm saying? This is something that you can't come back from. People are making way too many videos about it now, using you as an example in a negative space, in a negative light. How you're just one of those names that are just going to be used for tabloids. You get what I'm saying? You're just going to be used for fucking tabloids. You made it to where, unfortunately, a lot of people look at you, and in their eyes, this is probably how they think other black men are acting. You know what I'm saying?
The SEC don't start wrestling.
I'm telling you, man, you made it look bad. The one thing that I'm 50-50 on is that on one hand, you got Shabuzi in country music, but then on the other hand, he's dressing like damn near somebody auntie. Or it just, I can't really say what that outfit was, but it didn't look manly. It was a weird choice, man. You know what I'm saying? It was a very weird choice. And I think this always happens in this industry because I think it's something to do with some type of submissive, subconsciously submitting yourself to whatever the fuck is going on in the industry. You know what I'm saying? I can't continue to roll with that shit. You know what I mean? And I fuck with Shabuzi and the music that he puts out. I've actually listened to some shit, but it's just like, why did you have to wear that? There's always a reason for something. People always want to act like, oh, well, it just did it, just do it. How many times is motherfuckers, so we gonna act like for 25 years, we've been seeing weird shit go on. Conspiracies that turned out to be true. Lies that turned out to be truth. Truth that turned out to be lies. And we just gonna sit here and act like that shit hasn't happened. Y'all gotta be blinded by some type of light. It gotta be the dark light though. Cause I'm you see behind me, I got white light behind me. That's what I represent. I might troll, I might bash a motherfucker, but at the end of the day, I want people to really take something from what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It's just not, like, of course the internet isn't real, but y'all can't say it ain't real if you got real people reacting to fake shit, eventually there's gonna be so many people that make the fake real that the real will be fake. You get me?
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's fucking nuts. And I'm just,
I think
I'm appalled by that shit, man. And I wish,
He was talking about why
this is why I think we've maxed out. Because there's, the reason why I feel like we've maxed out on this whole internet shit, because nothing surprises me anymore. Nothing surprises me anymore about what someone says about somebody, what someone is accused of doing, how someone feels about somebody's wife, niggas catching diseases. It doesn't surprise me anymore because it's almost like it's expected. You get what I'm saying? It's almost like it's expected. You're expected to see somebody come out and say, oh, I got raped and they gave me this and now I'm having a baby by him. And it's just like, it's too much, man. But it's not too much, right? Because real life shit like that happens on a lower level, lower scale of everyday people. It's just that when it happens to people with millions of dollars, it's a little more confusing because you have the resources to not get caught up in this type of shit. That's all it is. So there has to be something going on up top that somebody's, what the fuck is going on up top? Corruption. Corruption of the mind. Maybe thinking you can get away with things because you have millions of dollars. And because you probably have got away with things because you do have millions of dollars. Yeah, but other than that, there is literally nothing else I can think of. Because shit has happened so much to where if I become a millionaire and then I have certain situations approach me and I see that it's similar to a situation like Shannon, or similar to a situation like Conor, or similar to a situation like Drake, or similar to a situation like Diddy, I'm not going to put myself in that situation to be brought in that sphere to where my name is synonymous with these people. I'm not the only one that got fucking eyes. These millionaires got eyes too. A lot of these motherfuckers don't be blind. A lot of these motherfuckers be blind to their own ego. But they don't be blind like sight-wise, like literal eyesight. They're not blind to why you can't see what's going on. And then on top of you actually seeing with your eyes, you don't see with your spirit, you don't see with your heart, you don't use discernment. Like where the fuck is the discernment at? You got you got millions of dollars. Where the fuck, just stay out of shit, man. It's almost like I'm not even surprised anymore. I'm also just getting pissed off. White, black, Indian, Chinese, nigga, I don't give a fuck what you is. Stop making your people look bad. There's a comedian out here that's on a podcast. I don't want to say his name because I feel like he's a creep. But he told a story about some weird shit with a kid. And he's still out here to this day, just doing podcasts, getting drunk. White guy on the right side of him. The white dude obviously endorsing the shit. So you got white and Chinese motherfuckers looking bad. You got Shannon Sharp making black folks look bad. Come on, man. You got Donald Trump definitely making white people look bad. A lot of people don't like him. Even in the government, out the government's over here, people over there, people in his own squad. It's just so much bullshit going on that it has to be, this has to be a distraction. We cannot continue to sit here and say this is real life. This shit is a distraction. Just don't get distracted by the bullshit, man. You know what I'm saying? It's too much, man. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much.
Live chess, and I thought it was the biggest crock of bullshit ever. Right?
You give a nigga a little bop, bop, bop. Like, nigga,
Yeah, like even one way is 40, right? Like it's like,
bro, that's if you got the hookup. That's if you give a nigga a little bop, 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 and like take a picture for his kids and start something. That's the hookup part, nigga.
Okay, so he's basically talking about why doesn't Clyde drive insurance, right?
Jack on.
Listen, convenience, nigga. That is, money is awesome for convenience shit like that. Like, for real, like, no.
Can you wait? Are you still jumping on a commercial flight, first class?
Yeah.
You still?
I'm not, listen,
You're not wasting your money on PJ.
Listen, granted, sometimes I'm grateful enough to experience taking a private plane with
Like
my
what you're flying
friends.
now.
Yes, with, like, by the way, I get like that. No, literally, like, these things go somewhere, and I was laughing. He's like, oh, we can go too if you need a ride. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, me and Brian on the plane, we need a ride. I'm like, yeah, they got me. Like, that's why I rapped about it, because I was like, oh, I'm at the point where I'm hitchhiking. But plane jet, I try not to pay for that bitch. Like, not one thing Tyler's not about to do is go broke taking a plane. And
So you never go up on it. They will see you at Delta One.
no, I don't know. Actually, I want to kick it there. Like, what time the plane leaving? 12? Nigga, I am there at 11:51.
Boom.
In there on the plane, off. You will see me on that motherfucker listening to music, sucking a cookie down. Like, I am not. I mean, you know, I would looking at all the niggas from the Atlanta I know, and every time they post these niggas on the jet, I'm like, how much money are these niggas getting? Nigga, play or not cheap, nigga.
You're like, if you have to pay for a phone.
I don't know why DJ Academics feels like Tyler the Creator is bullshitting right now when he's talking about private jets, planes, and how much they cost. That's just being, you know, currency savvy, cash savvy. Like, it's being smart. I don't want to pay $40,000, $30,000, $50,000 to ride a private jet from one place to the next because I feel like you also have to pay for the gas, is what I heard. Nah, man, ain't nobody doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then he's a star already. So I don't have to prove to myself that I'm somebody by getting on something that few people can afford. You know what I'm saying? That's all, man. I don't know why DJ Academics does these little rants and shots, crock of shit, and all this type of stuff. It's just the content that he comes out with, man, is him and Anthony Fantano are just, they're cooked. And at this point, they know eventually their content will hit a plateau unless they figure out. Like, I feel like DJ Academic should go ahead and stop doing these and continue to get guests and just focus on the podcast, because this is getting him in trouble. I know DJ Academics has a lot of cash. He obviously says it every chance he fucking gets. I got cash, I got. But that shouldn't define you, my brother. Again, you're someone on the internet that's making, what is he, Jamaican? He's making Jamaicans look bad. You think people get on DJ Academics' platform and feel like they're going to change the world? Nah, man, they know they're going there. But that man is just another pit stop. You know, he's. I remember when DJ Academics, before all of the shit came out about him and the kid and all that brooming, we're gonna call it brooming, all that brooming shit he was doing. I remember he respected wanting to be on a platform that wasn't his seat in his house, a mansion. It's his mansion, right? I remember a time when DJ Academics literally said, I want to work for Complex because when I put that on my resume, it'll make my resume look better instead of being this YouTuber guy. I don't think he cares about that anymore. I remember one time DJ Academics actually respected magazines even though they were dying out. You know what I'm saying? He respected people in that space of journalism. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he does anymore. I think he just shits on everybody now that he can. If you don't like him, you know, he's gonna shit on you and move on. He's probably got more cash than you or whatever the fuck. It's just, it's so lame, man, that you can see how currency and money changes somebody that originally didn't feel like that way at all. You know what I mean? Now, I will say shout out to BJ Crackademics for giving us content, because it's almost too easy to talk about you, bro. So I get why you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? If you really feel like some of the ways that you say you feel, hey man, you in your own world, homie. You in your own motherfucking world, man. You are influence in this community, unfortunately. Um, but it's some people that got you beat. There's some people that definitely got you beat. You know what I'm saying? Who else, man? Let me continue to play this.
Like, what are you in the drop? What are you in the drop?
Bro, I don't even want to say that shit.
It's another virtue brand even say.
Like, nigga,
They're like, even one way is 40, right? Like, it's like,
bro, and that's if you got the hookup. That's if you give a nigga a little bop, 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 and like take a picture for his kids and sign something. That's the hookup part, nigga.
I thought if it was already going that way, you could get it like it had to go back. Like, you know how that sometimes they have to like, oh, we have to be in LA and be like,
I think the coolest thing, I think was T-Pain was just like, you will see me here in first class. I am never spending my money on private jets. He was like, I'm trying to stay rich. I was
Yeah,
like,
no, for sure. I'm not there yet.
it's done. Performance. Cadillac has it all.
That's true, man.
It's yours.
If you're not there, you're not there. And it's not that he's broke, obviously. He has a whole fucking festival he does. He got the wolf shit. You know what I'm saying? It's you got the flog shit, which is golf spelled backwards, which is funny as fuck. Still trolling with that. So I think that Tyler the Creator accepts himself for who he is and what he does, you know, for the community of hip hop rap. And even R&B, because he is an R&B boy. And pop a little bit too.
Please, man. Yo, I hate when y'all rappers who like getting like a bump. You see, y'all will say that, but y'all don't say how much I get for the show. Because of course, to a regular person, it sounds incredibly wild that you're paying for.
To a person who's really rich, that's probably some of the smartest shit. DJ Academics is very good at this word soup and making you confused while you're listening to him. What the fuck does a show have to do with you paying for a private jet? How much I get paid for a show there's no connection with paying for a jet. I get his sentiment in a sense of, well, if you pay $40,000 for a jet, you can just go make that back on the show. That's not the point. They don't even have anything to do with each other. Those are two different instances for two different things for two different reasons. I don't even see why that you even like. He just be mashing shit together, man. He been doing that shit for years. At one point in time, man, I was watching DJ Academics because he was funny. DJ Academics has lost the comedy aspect of how he originally came up. I don't agree with the Chicago shit, but I'm not gonna sit here and say I wasn't watching it, and I'm not gonna sit here and say it wasn't funny. But I did stop watching it eventually because I started to notice it sounded way more insensitive to the people. Once he started to make fun of the people who were actually dying, I kind of stopped watching it. Maybe it's fucked up, but as long as they're alive, I feel like you could talk about them. You know what I'm saying? The way he was talking about it was a bit much. But they're alive. Once he started saying the ops are up, 12 to, whatever, like it's almost like a basketball game or something. For the people who gave him that room to do so, I get that people were doing that in Chicago, but you're not from Chicago. You were in your mom's basement doing this shit. You were getting drunk, which made it funny. But I think you lost the aspect of comedy with your shit, bro, because you take everything personal that everybody says. Like, no one really gives a fuck about. Your opinion doesn't matter. It just does numbers at this point. You're playing a numbers game. And I don't respect how you're playing the numbers game. It's certain people that teeter-totter over that shit, right? Like a Andrew Schultz, for example. He said something about graping Kendrick Lamar. Like, oh, he's short. If I had him in a jail cell, he'll be the bottom bunk or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever, right? Whatever's equivalent to someone saying he a weak-ass bitch, basically. Because he felt like Kendrick Lamar dissed him on the song, which he didn't say your name. He just said white comedians don't talk about black women. That's law. And it kind of makes sense because if you think about the history and historical value of what he's saying, he's just telling you, like, bro, that's kind of still racist in a sense. It's an underlying racist tone when white men talk about black women, devaluing of black women. making jokes of black women because white men used to hang black women and their babies, feed the babies to the wolves, and rape the black women, and continue to feed the babies to the wolves. Where do you think the term America eats their babies? Who runs America? So who's eating the babies? I'm just being honest. But let's continue. And all white men and white women aren't like that. But I was watching this short on Facebook, and a lot of white people are taught to shut the fuck up when it comes to authoritative figures that represent patriotism, which underlyingly represents white supremacy, which they get reinforced when they're a child. And that was very, very eye-opening to me because it explains why progressive white people exist. You know, white people who care about change and are fighting against racism, knowing that they are born into being racist automatically. They're taught to be racist without knowing it. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically, that's a short version of it. But she gave point after point after point after point about it. And that's what that whole thing was about, Andrew Schultz. It wasn't really about you. It was more so just about the systematic. It's very complicated, but the very complex, systematic way that they kind of place movies and commercials and TV shows and cartoons. They perpetuate it by giving you a show, but they know that fucks with your subconscious, and it shapes a certain image. That's all he was saying, man.
To go fly somewhere, right? But you guys have a hectic schedule. You guys are traveling. I want to make this make sense to y'all because, and I want to show you how rappers pander to the regular consumer. I'm not saying that you should.
So, rappers pander to the regular consumer. These are academics. You pander to anything at any point in time for anybody if it sounds good. Come on, man.
You just want to spend your money frivolously on private jets. And I want to tell you, and I want to have y'all make an educated decision. It's the rappers who tell you this, okay? Of course, if you don't have nothing going on, and you're flying private, and you're just wasting your money, and you're going somewhere, and you're spending $60,000 either for a round trip, or maybe like if you go to LA from Teterboro, so that's like New York to LA, you're gonna spend for a 10-person jet, you're gonna spend about like $60,000 to $70,000 per leg. So you're gonna spend $120,000 to fly there and fly back. Now, of course, if you're going there do a gig for 20,000, 30,000, you're in it, right? Like you're clearly, right? No. Now here's the thing. Everything about private jet is, of course, it's luxury, but it's also about making sense, right? Tyler the Creator, and this is what I said. Like I think he's pandering, he's cap. I wish he would tell the whole story because it would make more sense. So Tyler the Creator has an entire team. When he's performing and when he's been on tour, he's traveling with 20 people. Not traveling alone, not just him. Showing up with a DJ.
Whatever, but I don't even want to watch that shit no more. He's trying to confuse you with words and this word soup game he has. I can't continue to watch that shit.
I see you being treated real. Rest in peace, Bill Slow. You could never treat me like that, though. You already know. Birdman says something to the effect of, don't make me show you what this tattoo tears about. He pulls up on you and gives you a gun. So he hands you a 38 and says someone owes him some money. You gonna handle that?
Conor.
Birdman is somebody who I feel like he'll watch this goddamn video and pull up on me, right? I'm not afraid of that, because I don't think nothing happened to me. But I'm watching this because it says surviving Birdman, like surviving R. Kelly. Exposing how he abused Lil Wayne and tried to eliminate his existence. Let me say that if that's safe enough for YouTube. I've always had this theory of like Wayne went through so much. It's almost like Stockholm syndrome. I think Wayne is going through Stockholm syndrome is the reason why when he sued for the 51 million and only got like 12 back, or not even a fifth of that Birdman didn't even want to pay him that. And so he made it very hard for him to do so. When you, if he's your son, like how you saying, then what is all of this shit about for real? This is why Wayne said, I'm not Tupac, I'm the new Pac, because he got shot at like Tupac, but he didn't die. You get what I'm saying? So let's continue to watch this.
Well, shoot.
Bitch, Lil Wayne, my son, I raised him. He ain't had nothing. I wanted to be so.
At the core of every human being is a desire for power. Now, some will suppress that instinct to go through life without the need for power or control. Others will own that innate desire and work towards it. But if it crosses their morals, they simply won't do it. But some, a very select few, will let nothing get in the way of their strive for power. Firstly, they will lie to your face and feel nothing about it. And secondly, they'll cross anyone, even those closest to them. And most importantly, they'll even take someone's life and not lose a second of sleep.
The OJ case was very famous of a black man getting away with a crime like a white man. Is what a lot of people felt like. You know what I'm saying? So that's very interesting that he put that clip in there. It's very interesting that he put Suge Knight in there. Suge Knight was somebody who definitely was crazy. A lot of people feel like he had something to do with Tupac and stuff like that, but then Vlad TV blew that up and made you realize that Suge Knight probably was really trying to protect Tupac, but they had their own internal issues. So it kind of got confusing, but I think at the end of the day, whoever it was, allegedly, right? Allegedly Diddy got something to do with it, right? This is why I feel like they let him off with the case, because he still got that Tupac shit to deal with, right? But I do think that it's ugly out here right now, man.
All of it means that they will retain their control and elevate
There you go.
their power. Often, these select few people will rise to influential positions due to their ability to cross lines that most human beings will never cross. Well, in this video, we take a deep dive into one of the biggest music
This shit's
moments
crazy,
of all
man.
time. A man who waited from the poverty-stricken streets of New Orleans to Miami mansions and Grammy Awards. But kind of like the Diddler, there's been a whole lot of questionable activity along the way. Ultimate disloyalty, thievery, attempted murders, and some truly sick accusations. Today, you will be exposed to a truly evil life behind all of the glitz and glamour. So get ready, because this episode will blow your mind. But before we get into it, let me run the intro.
And shout out to Swamp Stories, man. I've never heard of Swamp Stories clipping somebody for playing this shit or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But for me being from the South and being, influenced by Juvenile and BG and Turk and Slim and Birdman and Master P and Silk Shaka and Mia X and just all these Southern powerhouses that created an entity and an image for the South for people to go back to and listen to. I just feel like this is a very interesting point and a take to have, especially after the aftermath of the Diddy case.
The story begins in 1960s New Orleans, the most magical time in the city's history. A massive oil industry, booming tourism, and a strong middle class. This is all what brought some money to New Orleans. A lot of locals, some locals took advantage. None more than a man named Johnny Williams, an uptown native born in 1920. Since a young age, Johnny was known as a hustler, as he opened restaurants, bars, and a whole bunch of laundromats all over New Orleans. Basically, Johnny was a local celebrity, like everyone knew him, especially the ladies. But sadly, he had a serious medical condition. As a child, Johnny was diagnosed with a tragic disease. Doctors would inform him that he's allergic to latex. No, for real. Johnny started popping out babies basically every year as an adult, because by the time he was 40, he already had 21 kids that we know of. Well, after getting half of New Orleans pregnant, Johnny decided that he wanted to settle down in his 40s. In particular, he started a relationship with a woman named Gladys Brooks, somebody who was special to his heart. He liked her so much that he actually opened a business for her. He bought her a home on Saratoga Street, turned the bottom.
I like how he's going all the way back to let you know how much I felt like he kind of respects the origin of New Orleans, the music, And at one point in time, it was almost act as a renaissance. You know what I'm saying? For black people to kind of revamp and reintroduce the power of what music and the black economy can do if we have a chance to grow and not be bombed or flooded out or burned down. You know, just shit like that. You know, historical facts.
Into a bar and music lounge and let her live upstairs. Together, this was a perfect pairing, as Johnny was a business-savvy entrepreneur and Gladys was a popular woman that everyone liked, and they would come see her at the bar. Well, after this kicked off, they began having children together in 1964. First, they had a son named...
Hey, shout out to everybody who watching, man. Shout out to everybody who watching. I appreciate y'all, man. Much love for real, man. This shit means a lot.
Nothing. Yes, you heard that correctly. Let me explain. Unfortunately, Johnny and Gladys didn't have a perfect relationship. In fact, it was pretty far from it. Johnny was an extremely busy person, you know, with 25 kids to take care of, and then over 12 businesses to run. With this situation, being a present father or partner is pretty much an impossible...
Shout out to everybody who in here who tapped in, man. We had 76 people come and tap in. I appreciate y'all. We had 26 people watching, 20 people watching, 16, 12. And shout out to everybody who was in this live. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all, man.
Their last child together in 1969, Gladys simply couldn't think of a name. So instead, she simply decided to refer to her newborn as Baby. This lasted for quite a while, but eventually the unnamed baby would be named Brian Brooks. Well, despite all this, Miss Gladys and the kids actually lived a pretty good life early on. The kids would be upstairs while she was operating the bar.
What's up?
If they ever needed her, all they had to do...
See, I didn't know that at one point in time. And this probably was happening back in the day where people were having so many kids, they ran out of goddamn names. So they just gave them a nickname until they probably went back and gave them a name. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? How that shit works, especially for the oppression and suppression that we were going through. There's no telling like how much bullshit was going on in the doctor's office. You know what I'm saying? At that time, there was very little black doctors. That was a very high position to have. And so I'm pretty sure, I'm going to assume that there was a lot of white doctors that controlled a lot of what was going on. And so they treated white people differently than black people. You know what I'm saying? And it's a very interesting point that his name came from when he was young. This wasn't something that he came up with, right? So that's just something interesting. And coming up with a father who had 24 kids from who knows how many women, right? Which is crazy. 24 kids, 25 kids, excuse me. It's just insane, like what that could do to you. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man. So shout out to Swamp Stories for actually giving us facts that matter and not just little bullshit. Like he definitely does his research. Every time I watch this, I watch it every now and again because Swamp Story has his videos usually is about 45 to about sometimes an hour and a half long, depending on the subject matter that he wants to touch on. So it's just interesting to see these different aspects, factual information. You know what I'm saying, or as close to a fact as we could get and grasp to that's open enough for us to kind of dissect for ourselves, which is what he's doing. It's just interesting to see that.
Walk downstairs. And then once they got old enough, they began helping run the bar and actually getting to watch live music every single night. Because of this early exposure to music, all of her children were naturally inclined. But not only this, they were also exposed to successful entrepreneurship right in front of their eyes. So despite being raised in the hood, they were all destined for success based on their direct influences. But then out of nowhere, tragedy strikes for the family. In 1975, Miss Gladys Brooks would sadly pass away due to health complications. The family was absolutely crushed. Now the kids were left in a devastating situation. They lost their beloved mother out of nowhere, something that children can simply not comprehend. Gladys was their everything. Sadly, the situation would get even worse. Because Johnny never signed their birth certificates, the kids would instantly become wards of the state once their mother passed away. This meant that he had no custody of them, and now they were sent off to foster care. The kids were separately sent off to foster families across the region, and this was truly devastating, especially for the youngest. Baby was just 6 years old, and now to not only not have your mother around, but now not have your older siblings.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
This was a bad situation.
What's going on? Rando, what it do?
But this wasn't an easy task. Like at this time, how do you prove that these are your kids? They don't have your last name, they never signed their birth certificates, you were never married to their mom, there's literally no proof. So after not being able to gain custody of the kids, Johnny's brother decided to step up. He adopted all 4 children and had them move in with him way up in the remote town of Prince George, British Columbia.
Damn.
Freezing cold in the middle of nowhere.
British Columbia? See, that's what I'm saying. I didn't even know Birdman went to what? He lived in British Columbia? That's fucking insane. That's what I'm saying. This man be doing a lot of research to where when you hear certain shit, it makes sense why Birdman, aka Baby, is cold. I'm telling you, man, it's a lot of, to me, this is a small, traumatic aspect of why Baby even probably handles shit like how he handles shit. You know what I'm saying? He really grew up in this shit. He really didn't have shit. You know what I'm saying? He really didn't have nothing. So growing up, seeing opportunity, he probably taking that shit and not even knowing. He's like on some vulture shit, like, you know, but he probably think this is normal. A lot of the times, man, when people have these certain struggles, they don't see it as abnormal. They don't. And when you have people that justify your actions for that shit, it definitely takes a turn. When people say yes to shit that they shouldn't say yes to, and they see it happening and they agree with it to go on because you're a powerful person, it makes sense from his childhood why he feels that way, because I had nothing. So fuck everybody. I don't give a fuck about nothing. And no wonder why. I'm going to tell y'all something else too, with him coming up with 25, 24 other kids, 24 other siblings. It makes sense why he wanted such a big label, such a big family. No wonder why he was signing everybody, because in his mind, he's like, shit, I came up from a big family, so why not have a big family of my own? I'm telling you, man, it makes sense.
Air Canada, but at least this is better than the potential horror stories of the foster system. Well, after 2 years of getting his shit together, Johnny was finally able to gain custody. He purchased a home on Balance Street in the 13th Ward, nice middle to upper class
13th Ward.
neighborhood. 2-story homes, manicured lawns, Catholic schools, and overall good neighborhood. And when the kids were in school or at home, they'd be riding around with Johnny as he checked on his various businesses. They were able to closely watch him run his businesses on a daily basis, soaking up all kinds of knowledge. In particular, the older son, Ronald, also known as Slim, he was obsessed with money and hustling. Slim was quiet his entire childhood, never talking, but always being observant of everything his father did. He was also extremely patient, as he wanted to fully understand business before trying to start his own. While on the other hand, the youngest son, Baby, he was quite the opposite. Baby's personality was loud, flashy, intimidating, and aggressive. He was a smart kid as well, but he loved everything that came with the money, not just the business itself like his big brother. So from his early teenage years, Baby was eager to get rich and flex, by any means necessary. Well, that fast forwards us to the year 1981, when OG Johnny gets into a new relationship with a woman named Miss Patricia. So before meeting Johnny, Patricia lived in the grimy Magnolia projects. But once they got into a relationship, Johnny invited her and her children into his home. Obviously, taking her and her kids out of a dangerous neighborhood is a good thing to do, but it wasn't necessarily a good thing for his own children. I say this because her son named Eldrick Wise clicked instantly with Baby. And let's just say that Eldrick was not the best influence. You see, Eldrick grew up in a whole different environment. Violence, hustling, and a whole lot of violence. And given this, despite being just 13 years old, he was already deep in the streets. And unfortunately, Baby looked up to Eldrick and began rolling with him every single day. And to me,
So, Eldrick is also another piece that we have to look at when we're talking about Baby, when we're talking about how he handles business, when we're talking about how he looks at business deals, when we're talking about how he's able to move in a room full of vultures, because unfortunately he kind of grew up looking up to people who were, when you look now into it, who were a part of a lifestyle that required you to be one, required you to be a lion, that even had to maybe even kill your young or kill your brother. You know what I'm saying? Like very territorial, very passionate about negative things. But people viewed it as normal. People viewed it as normal. You know what I'm saying?
If matters worse, he brought him to the Magnolia Projects and introduced him to the neighborhood crew. He was instantly infatuated. Just like that, the 12-year-old baby started running with the Magnolia crew. He always wanted
At 12 years old, nigga, I was sneaking out my mama house and shit. You know what I'm saying? Sneaking out my mama house, street lights on. 1 o'clock in the morning, I gotta go to school. I'm sneaking out, I'm going up the block, I'm smoking weed. The one blessing that I did have that I probably should have listened to was that a lot of those guys told me, man, Trey, you ain't gotta fucking do this shit. From me being a youngin', a lot of niggas was telling me, man, you ain't gotta do this shit that we doing, man. Niggas get shot, stabbed, weird shit happens in jail, prison. You don't want to be a part of this process. But they was saying shit like, nigga, get your little ass on somewhere, man. Get your ass back in the house. Your mama whoop your ass, you see you out here with us. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of the stuff that I was doing, getting into, you know, weed and playing hide to go get it with the little girls and shit, it came from me sneaking out the crib and wanting to see what the fuck was going on. Why you telling me I can't go here, go there, do this, do that? You feel me? Unfortunately, it made me curious about what the streets were. And I went out and saw it. I never got snatched or kidnapped or touched or nothing like that. The only thing that happened was, nigga, I see a motherfucking crackhead, ask them why they on the, I'm talking about I'm 12, 13 years old, asking them, what you out here for? You know, and they see a young child, underdeveloped, asking them these type of questions. They instantly knew, like, I wasn't trying to be on that shit, because I never, like, got into hard drugs like that. You know what I'm saying? I only smoked marijuana. And, I mean, I've tried things. You know, I've been to festivals, I've tried shit, you know what I'm saying? I had fun here and there, but for the most part, it was just marijuana. And so, to see him at 12, like, way deeper than what I was doing, it does give me a better idea of how he formed and created and constructed this attitude of young money, cash money. You know what I'm saying? Him and Slim.
feared, fly, and respected by everyone. This was his perfect opportunity. But in this era, even just being flying getting girls could get you knocked off in New Orleans. The formerly booming city in the 1960s was no longer that, not even close.
Right.
The entire gas industry moved over to Texas, and New Orleans lost half of its population.
See, Texas, you know, is not a reason why New Orleans, Louisiana lost. It's because it wasn't like, oh, we're gonna, you know, Texas wasn't looking at Louisiana, it was like, oh, we're gonna take out the population. But when a whole industry and very powerful industry moves from one state to the next, unfortunately, people are gonna move with that because people have jobs, people have families. And so it would make sense that a lot of people from Texas have a lot of New Orleans slang or something like that too in certain cities that I'm not familiar with. But now it makes sense about what historically happened and why you even see certain families from here to there. You know, and so this is giving you not just, and shout out, like I said, to Swamp Stories. This is not just giving you an idea of what Baby went through. This is giving you an idea of what New Orleans went through. And within that, Baby was in that. Within that, Eldrick was in that, you know. So
this resulted in abandoned houses everywhere, lack of police funding, pure chaos all over the streets. The drug game pretty much took over all the neighborhoods, and this resulted in a whole lot of turf wars. In fact, by 1980, this small city with just 400,000 people was averaging 240 murders a year. Just small neighborhood crews everywhere, knocking each other down over territory, but also for no reason as well. New Orleans truly became a city of jealousy, to where if a guy got rich and started getting girls, everyone would try to kill him. These are the streets that a 12-year-old baby decided to jump in. Baby, Eldrick, and the rest of the Magnolia Boys began taking over blocks throughout Uptown. And I know this may be hard to believe, but by the age of 13 or 14 years old, Baby was already running the crew. He was a natural born leader, and then with the business experience that he learned from his father, he was like an unstoppable force. He allegedly started a drug operation based out of the Magnolia Project, and he had a bunch of little dudes settling on different corners. Well, obviously, doing this in a rough city made him and his guys serious targets. Rivals, well, they wanted them gone. But Baby knew that expanding territory would be dangerous, so he needed a remedy. A remedy of a bunch of young crashouts that are willing to knock someone down just to send a message. He was truly willing to do whatever it takes to get rich and take control of the New Orleans streets. He needed certified hitmen, and this is when he calls on someone that you never expect. It's now 1986, and Baby is a 17-year-old New Orleans superstar. He's got money, power, and respect, and everyone looks up to him, but none more than his little brother who he's never met. This would be an 11-year-old by the name of Terrence Williams.
What's going on? What's going on, man? Who watching, man? What's up? What's going on? Who watching, man? Right now I'm talking about Surviving Birdman. Shout out to Swamp Stories for breaking this shit down, giving you a bit of New Orleans history and just everything that happened to where he created and cultivated a culture. Well, not a culture, but he created an environment for people to thrive and be passionate about negative shit. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers was passionate about negative shit. And that's what happens in the hood. But it's not the hood. It's a mentality, man. You know what I'm saying? So the mentality changed once. Because at one point in time, like Swamp Story said, this was a great neighborhood for children and men and women to grow old, you know, pass shit down from black specifically, from one family to the next. But, you know, once the oil industry moved out, it just, half the population left. So there were so many abandoned houses and shit going on. There was only 400,000 people in the city and 240 murders a year at this time he's talking. It's crazy, man, to see the change that it could do for a child. You know what I'm saying? From child to a teen to now him being 17, 18 at this point. So for those 3-4 years, he was in the streets running it from the ages of 12, 13, I'm really 17. He was running this shit, or he was getting his rank and respect to do so. You know what I'm saying?
For children, and even though he's never met him, he idolizes his big bro based on what everyone's told him about.
Your big brother superstar got me on this, son. You gotta do that, yeah.
And that day would finally come in 1986.
What up? Who watching, man? State your name and your game, man. State your name and your game. State your name and your game. Go on, claim that shit, man. Who else watching, man? What's good?
He would roll up to Terrence's mom's house. It's a regular day like any other, and Terrence is at his mom's house watching TV. This is when he hears speakers knocking outside, so instantly he runs to the window and looks outside. Boom, right there is Baby in a brand new SUV with 2 girls in the back. So the 11-year-old Terrence is excited as ever. Oh my goodness, my big brother came to see me. So he runs outside all excited, and this is when Baby tells him to hop in the passenger seat. So of course he hops in, and boom, this is when a firearm is pushed to the back of his head. This is not what Terrence was expecting. Now in the situation, he has no choice but to do what Baby says. This is when he quietly pulls off and drives him to a specific corner. He then hands him a 38 and points to a man standing on the corner.
So he hands you a 38 and says someone owes you some money? You don't handle that?
The cone, brought around the cone, thrown him out, shoot him.
So this is when Terrence, with no other choice, hops out of the car and walks up to the man.
Shot him to the head, chest, and in the back. He fell. I ran, instead of me jumping back in the car, I ran back home.
This is real. Exactly. You'll know how
Avocados. Gotta love them, avocados, man.
We take pride in our hometown, our traditions, making our customers feel like family, and their homes comfortable. With name brand furnishings, whether I'm running an La-Z-Boy recliner or
What's going on? Who else watching, man? Let me know something, man. What's good? Who else watching, man?
service to build lasting relationships.
Keeping track of stock levels and sales used to be my biggest nightmare with my e-commerce store. Now, Zero makes it easy to stay on top of everything. Before Zero, this is how evil Baby already was. He was willing to turn his little brother into a killer if it could benefit his organization. But it also goes to show that he has the true mind of a manipulator. Firstly, he took advantage of the fact that he knew his little brother idolized him. Because he idolizes me, I guarantee he's willing to do anything I say just to impress me. And he also knew that because he committed this atrocity so young, he'd get used to it and he was willing to do it again. And sadly, this is exactly what would happen. Terrence would become a true hitman for his brother. And if you want to learn about it, go watch my video. He forced his little brother into the life of crime in the worst way possible. And for this reason, sadly, Terrence Williams would be the first victim of surviving Birdman. He became an integral part of Baby's empire as the Magnolia Boys got more and more violent. In fact, it was so bad that the Uptown neighborhood alone averaged over 100 murders between 1987 and 1991. Yes, you heard that correctly. 100 murders per year in one neighborhood alone. And these guys were a big part of it. They were stacking millions, driving fly whips, and catching a whole lot of bodies. And the worst part about it is that these guys were getting away with all of it, especially Baby.
Damn, man.
And
It's
this
fucked
era,
up.
you could literally get away with anything, especially in New Orleans. Like, nobody took the police seriously. Even the idea of getting caught was laughable to Baby. That could never happen. So really, Baby had no reason to stop what he had going on. Well, at least legal, because he still had to worry about the ops putting him in a casket. He was making millions, he had every girl in New Orleans, and was never going to get caught. Why the hell would he stop? But Baby always had bigger dreams, and all this was just a stepping stone to get there. He knew that he wanted to do something with music, and now that he had a bunch of money, he knew that he could put something together. So in 1991, with the help of his highly intelligent big brother, he decided to start a record label. And he named it after his favorite thing in the world, Cash Money. He even came up with a logo on his notepad. At this time, independently starting a label at 22 years old was unheard of, as usually you'd have to go to New York or LA and get put on by a guy in a suit. But Baby,
So, even though he was passionate about negative things, he still was trying to find a way to get out, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really, this is when it gets confusing for me when it comes to how someone is thinking. Just interesting.
Slim were already millionaires on their own, so they didn't need anyone's help to sign artists and distribute records. At this point, they had the money saved, the record label, but they needed artists. Unfortunately, at this time, New Orleans didn't really have any rappers, at least not any that were known outside the city. Because let's be honest, making a good song with those goofy-ass accents is not an easy task. So to get
Goofy-ass accents, man, that's kind of a shot to the South Swamp, so I don't know about that one.
their Baby and Slim started scouting the city for young talent. Quickly, they discover a 15-year-old rapper by the name of Kilo G. Kilo was known for rapping in the school hallways and rapping in the neighborhood as well, and this is how he got his initial buzz. Well, when Baby and Slim got the chance to hear him freestyle, they were instantly impressed and they signed him right away. Cash Money's very first artist, and they were certain they could make him into a star. But this didn't exactly happen, because his first album flopped. And after this embarrassment, Baby and Slim were like,
Nah, brother, this ain't gonna happen.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, man? Who watching, man? State your name and your claim, man. State your name and your claim, man. Who watching, man?
And again,
so they basically put Kilo on the shelf and began looking for something else. What they learned is that boom bap rap does not work in the South, and that Louisiana listens to a whole different tune, a unique genre known as bounce music. This was basically the only thing that locals listened to, so Baby and Slim figured that if we can bring this to the national stage, it might work. So in late 1992, they signed a bounce artist by the name of Michael Pettis, also known as Lil Slim. Now, Michael is definitely a local legend, but his music did not make it past Mississippi or Texas. But regardless of flopping, Michael would actually play a very important role for Cash Money later on, as you'll see. Well, after going 0 for 2 for their first artist, Cash Money was not going to give up. Not yet. So over the next couple of years, they kept signing more and more artists, hoping to get their break. And finally, they found their gem. Straight out of the Magnolia Projects arose a group known as UNLV, and it originally comprised of 2 members, Lil Yacht and Tech 9. From what we know, these dudes were like the original King Von. Real certified New Orleans headhunters, but also some very talented rappers. They were straight up the first rappers to rap about killing and actually go do it. And let me just say that in 1993, rapping about killing someone and throwing their body into the Mississippi River was not a common theme. And because of this shock value, UNLV were an instant success. They took that grimy New Orleans street life and masterfully put it on records. While these guys brought Baby his very first record label success. And because of this, you'd think he'd have some loyalty to them. But you knew better. After their successful debuts, UNLV would add another member, a man by the name of Albert Thomas, commonly known as Yellow Boy. Yellow Boy was a very talented rapper, there's no denying that. But Birdman did not want him to join the group. Not for any musical reasons though, but simply because Birdman just didn't like him. This is because Yellow was a very confrontational person who would never stand down to no man. And as we know, Birdman liked his artist to blaze him. But when Yellow Boy joined the group, that's when they dropped their biggest hits, so Birdman couldn't really kick him off the group. They were doing numbers and selling out shows. That's when Yellow Boy was like, hey, when are we gonna get paid for real? He felt like something isn't right and the money's not adding up. And because of this, tensions between him and Birdman began to rise.
Where my money at, bro?
Man, bro, I can't stand this dude. Eventually, something is bound to pop off between Baby and Yellow Boy. It's late summer 1996, and today is a very important day for UNLV. In the afternoon, they're booked to have a professional video shoot for their upcoming album to be featured on MTV and BET. This is a huge potential stepping stone for the group, and it really could take them to the mainstream stage. While the video is supposed to take place in the daylight with the sun setting over the bridge, so everyone is expected to be at the set by 6:30 at the latest. Baby arrives, Slim arrives, the camera crew arrives, security arrives. But where are the rappers? 2.5 hours go by while everyone impatiently waits for their arrival. Well, as it turns out, Lil Ya had agreed to pick up Tech and Yella from their homes and drive them to the shoot, but unfortunately, he fell asleep on his couch. Finally, he wakes up at 8 p.m. and rushes to get ready and to pick up his friends. However, by the time they arrive at the set, the camera crew already went home, and all that's left is Baby and Slim, who are absolutely furious. We just wasted tens of thousands of dollars on a professional video shoot just for you guys not to show up? Yeah, right. And this is when Baby makes a strange decision. Instead of confronting the member who's driving, he walks up to the back seat and begins chewing out Yellow Boy. So Yellow hops out of the car confused, like, bruh, it's not even my fault we're late. The fuck are you yelling at me for? But Baby just continues to rip into Yellow, calling him all sorts of names and embarrassing him in front of his fellow group members. Lil Ya even barges in and says, hey, it's not his fault we're late, it's literally my fault. But Baby doesn't care, and this is when it's clear that the outburst has nothing to do with being late. This is just Baby's first opportunity to really pop off at Yella. So Yella gets back in his face and he's like, you're worried about us being late and you owe us a bunch of money? Nah, bruh. This is when the other UNLV members say, hey, y'all need to stop, just fight it out one-on-one and let's get it over with. So Birdman and Yellow Boy agree to take it back to the hood and have a one-on-one fight. Everyone heads off separately towards 4th and Dryads, right in front of Yellow Boy's grandma's house. At 10:30 p.m., Baby and Slim roll up to the block, and there's Yellow Boy on the corner with his shirt off, drooling, just waiting to put hands on Baby. Instantly, Baby hops out of the car and they start throwing hands in the middle of the street. Boom, boom, boom. They throw haymakers back and forth, but Yella's getting the best of him. So this is when Slim jumps in to try to break everything up. Nah, bro, let him fight. Tech is not feeling this, so he grabs Slim and he tries to hold him back. This is when Slim flails his arm back and smacks Tech in the mouth. Oh, hell no. Tech is pissed and he starts throwing punches at Slim.
Slim trying to step in and break him up. Tech got his arm down. Stole it off from Slim.
It turns into an all-out brawl in the middle of the street. UNLV versus Cash Money. Eventually, they all run out of stamina and it cools down. Now it's a silent, awkward situation, and everyone quietly goes their separate ways.
There's a reason the flappy flaily inflatable tube man dominated the dance-off. Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
Just goddamn flinging, man. That was funny. Very interesting video, man. Very, very interesting video, man. Shit crazy. Shit is crazy how Birdman, at least he,
Get yours, fries, drink, and dessert.
it's interesting. He put them hands up, though. Shit, he wasn't no bitch, you know what I'm saying? We'll give him that. He wasn't no bitch about it. You know what I'm saying?
This can result in one of two ways. Either the fight solved all the tensions and now they can all be cool and push it under the bridge, or they have to go to war with each other. And typically in the streets of New Orleans, the latter is going to take place. But no, Birdman actually calls the UNLV members and tells them to forget about it. Everything is water under the bridge. So this stops everything from potentially getting violent, at least for the meantime. So long story short, directly after this, UNLV would drop their final album under Cash Money Management. And of course, the album does really well. So now the members are like, okay, are we going to get a next contract or at least get paid?
UNLV was getting hot in the city, blowing up. And it was time to, I think, renew the contract or something. And Yellow was like, man, first of all, we hot, we blowing up, we want a nationwide deal. We tired of this local stuff. Baby like, man, you gotta be patient. See, Baby had money from the streets. So he good. Yellow, coming from the middle selling crack. So like, man, listen, we got some hot songs. It's time to get us a big deal.
As it turns out, it was really not water under the bridge because Baby would not sign them under any circumstance. So UNLV are like, all right, bruh, it is what it is. We'll just do this on our own. So this is when the group decides to start their own label, UNLV Records. And in order to do this, they hire some lawyers to put everything together. Well, when the lawyers go through their Cash Money documents, they're like, something ain't right. Cash Money owes you guys a lot of money. You were only paid a fraction of what you deserve.
That's when, we went to discover, like, damn, everything we done had this and we done had that, and nothing was out in our life. So that's when the attorneys came to me and shit like that. And we found out that we had some unpaid royalties.
And of course, once the members are shown this, they're extra pissed. Like, firstly, you refused to re-sign us even though we were your first success on your label, but on top of this, you owe us a boatload of money? Oh, nah. Instantly, Yellow Boy wants to do something vicious to Birdman, but the other members are like, chill. If you do that, we'll never get our money. On top of this, the lawyers assure them that they're going to take Cash Money to court and that they will get them their money. So UNLV's lawyers take Cash Money to court, and at this point, Baby has no choice but to pay up. So this is exactly what Baby does, and we'll get to that in a minute. But what's important now is that two of the members actually believe that it was an honest mistake on Baby's behalf.
I don't know how clear to put it, but they didn't know what they was doing. So, I can't say that they straight got us. They played us, because if they did, they would have made sure that the eyes was dying while they was doing it.
So for two of the members, Tech 9 and Lil Yeah, they were all good with it. Just give us our money and we'll go our separate ways. So this is when Baby calls them, tells them to drop the lawsuit, and says, I've got your money here. Just come get your checks. So instantly, two of the UNLV members head over to Birdman's Eastover estate. They knock on the door, he opens up, he hands them their checks, they read it, it's all good, no funny business. And after handing them their checks, Baby's like, hey, where's Yellow Boy? This is when they tell him that Yellow Boy doesn't want to come see you, he'd rather you hand us the check and then we'll get it to him. Baby is not feeling this. Nah, bruh. If he wants his check, he's gonna come get it from me. So the two UNLV members are like, cool, sounds fair enough to me, and they go off and cash their checks.
Yellow wasn't there to get it. Baby wouldn't release it with us. He told us to tell Yellow to come get his check.
Per usual, it's yet another power struggle between Baby and Yellow Boy. When Yellow finds out that Baby wouldn't give the check to his fellow members to deliver to him, he's pissed.
And he like, man, where y'all at? And I told him, he was like, man, what Baby, man? I said, call him, he's looking for you to give you your paper. Yellow was already burnt up. Y'all like, why the fuck you ain't give it to y'all when you know? Well, you know what I'm saying? We're clean though.
Instead of being mature and just going to get his